Hello and welcome back. You joined me at the start of this episode with a bit of a problem. We're moving on to the interior, but I disconnected the battery and the seats are electronic. There's a lot of noise out there. So I've got to now try and move the seats around. Now I did look on the internet and you can apparently put an Allen key in the end of the motor and turn the motor manually. However, there's not a lot of room, so I can't be arsed with that. Instead, what I have decided to do is put the modules back in, reconnect the battery. As you can see by this helpful little light here, there is power. Now, I did start off by taking these bolts out here, which I thought might allow me to slide the seat out in some way, but it hasn't worked. So what I've done is I've hooked the battery up and it did work. I can get to the back ones at least, so let's get the back off. Now the good thing about this is hopefully we won't actually have to use these seats again. This one we definitely can't use again, but hopefully in the new shell it'll be bucket seats going in instead of these slightly underwhelming M3 seats. So seat bolts, 4 T40s holding them in, 2 electrical connectors underneath the seats, tilt them back, unplug them, pull them out of the car. Exactly the same on the passenger side. Rear centre console, 2 10mm nuts holding it in, a couple of clips and a wiring loom. Front vents, pull them off, 2 electrical connectors going into the back of the heater module, ding, undo them, pull it out. A load of T20s holding the dash in, 6 in the glove box, probably another 4 in the dash panels. And a hell of a lot of wiring loom. Push all the wires through, wiggle it off. Oh, no. Steering wheel's got to come off. So long. And yes, I forgot to take the steering wheel off. 160mm bolt on the electrical connections, 4 T30s holding the actual steering wheel squib on. And yes, I forgot the electrical connectors underneath the dash as well. So unplug them, pull the dash out of the way. 4 nuts holding the actual dash bar on, 413mm, unscrew them. 2 bolts holding the lower beam down, undo that as well. Wiring loom getting caught up in there. A couple of bits that are clipped on, unclip it all, pull it out of the way. Then the heater matrix. Heater matrix, 2 T30s either side holding it on to the dash bar, so we've obviously already undone them. 13mm from the bulkhead in, undo that as well. I spent ages trying to find that, and some wiring connections. So, I have no idea where I've got to with the filming of this. I could tell you how far we've got with the car, and I'll show you now. The engine is out, modules are out, brake booster is out. Brake booster's on the floor actually because it's still got fluid in it. Window reg's staying in because the other one has a window reg, and we're just going to hope for the best and hope that that one still works. The wiring loom is in a nice pile on the floor. The interior is pretty much fully stripped from everything we need out of it. The rear seats are bent. We do need to take out this kind of panel here because that needs to be swapped over, this module and then the battery. The rear bumper was bent, so we're not reusing that. These like securing brackets is on this shell still. There's some other couple of small niggly bits that have got to come off of this M3. The main thing that it still isn't off is the rear axle, subframe and all of that, which we're going to strip down today. The only thing that I'm now seeing is I'm hoping that the subframe is not bent. The front one is cracked. This one, this bracket is bent obviously, as you can see there. Hoping nothing else on it is. If it is, that just adds to the time and the cost. This shell
is completely bare. I've started to untangle the wire and loom and try and fit it all in there. I've swapped over the engine cooler, no, the gearbox oil cooler, a couple of the matrix pipes. This dash isn't going back in it. That dash over there is, that heater matrix is. The front subframe is cracked. As you can quite clearly see there, there's light passing through it, which should not be happening. We don't know about the steering rack yet. The power steering pump on the engine is dead, so that needs to be replaced. All of the parts that need to be refitted, painted, mainly refitted and painted. The seats aren't going back in because obviously the airbag has blown out the driver's side, so that will probably be having bucket seats put in it. In fact, it will be. Those are some spare tyres that we got donated. That is just a pile of plastics, interior plastics, under trays, all of that. The bonnet, the wings, the door, the bumper is all being picked up to get painted. The exhaust, centre section is perfectly fine. However, the back box, see the pipe been bent quite badly. Front end kind of, rear bumper's bent and cracked and just not very good. The engine needs some work. So the engine, there is a lot of hysteria with the E92 M3 engine. If any of you know, common failings with them are the throttle actuators and the bottom end bearings. This has had the actuators replaced and the rod bearings replaced, allegedly. When Elena bought it, apparently there's no paperwork with it. Bmw HQ was rang and they said that they couldn't tell us. The only thing we could do is ring around every single individual BMW dealer in the area that it was bought from. There's some other things that are going to lead on once this has been rebuilt. It's been to the ring. There's some other bits that will be going on the car, and then the engine will get taken apart. So for now, we're putting a power steering pump on it, a new water pump, DCT service with the oil change and the filters and all that. But obviously that can't be completed fully until it's back on the car because the oil is just going to drain out. Engine service, spark plugs, filter, and maybe if we have time, take the sump off and just see if the bottom end has been done. Now the thing is with these bottom end bearings is you buy these cars and you've got to treat them with a bit of respect, and you've got to remember that it's a high revving V8 and that it's race derived and that it will need that maintenance. Bottom ends at £1,500 to £1,800 depending on if you use ACL bearings, BMW bolts, ACL, ARP bolts. I'd like to think it'd be cheaper in that state with the engine out, because also then depending on how people go about it, you just have to drop the sump off. I mean, you could just push the rod up, pull the shell, I don't know, or you've got to strip it, take the crank out and all of that. However, this being a LCI, I am told that on the later 2010s stroke 2011s, the rod bearings were upgraded. Nobody could tell me what they were upgraded, whether it was material, clearances or anything like that. So it's going on a wing and a prayer and hoping that everything is going to be fine. Or it's going to spin a bearing when we're sending it around the ring, who knows. But yes, that is a little brief history on the S65. It is a V8, it is temperamental. Apparently it's had some bits done. There's definitely, some people have definitely been in there because there's downpipe bolts that are wrong, nuts that shouldn't be there, and then there's, you can see the heads of bolts that have just been kind of not, when you put a ratchet on it, not properly, it's kind of just, I don't know what you say, like twisted the heads almost. But what you've got to think is a 60 plate car. It's a 2010 car. That's 14 years old now. So a lot of people will have worked on it. But anyway, that's my little speech for the video done. Let's carry on filming from where I think we left off, which is going to be taking the rear subframe out. Now, I apologise for the angles, it's all on tripod. The boys aren't about in a minute, they're at Boomtown and all of that, so got to make the rear subframe. 4 E-Torques holding the actual subframe on, 2 16mm either side for the, I don't know what you'd call it, brace bar over the top of the fuel tanks. Undo all of that, and then 2 brake pipe flexes actually underneath onto the brake lines two 18mm shock bolts, which, as you're about to see, one of them didn't go to plan.
Now that is all the bolts out.
Oh, wait, hang on. Not quite.
Aluminium into fucking steel. Absolute dickheads. Oh. Ah, you bastard. Fucking shit car. So, slightly annoying. But the bolt snapped on this side. And it's snapped flush, so that's annoying. It has come out some of the way, but I don't know how far. So I've undone the top mount nut, which is a bit annoying because it just means that I've got more stuff hanging around underneath. And like everything else with this car, doing it on your own, taking the subframe out, was a bit of ag. Had to keep stopping, checking everything was coming out smoothly. And a lot of wiggling, a lot of trying to control it yourself. Just hard work. Drop it down onto some dollies and then drag it out of the car. Well, that's that on the floor. That is the M3 pretty much stripped. I just realised how wonky this camera is. The rear diff's out, axle and all that, where is it? There. That's pretty much everything that I'll film on the strip down, because I mean it's just like niggly little bits now. Wiring loom, it'll be next video, it'll be fitting the wiring loom. We can go ahead and build this one up and send this one to scrap. Anyway, right, that'd be me done for stripping the car down. I don't know, I've just walked into the darkest corner in the workshop, never mind. But that is all for now. I will catch you in the next one, where the more interesting stuff I think happens, and where I've got to remember how all of this goes back together. So until then, like, comment, subscribe, follow my Instagram. I'm trying to think who's been in this video. My Instagram, Elena's Instagram, Archie's Instagram, Kyle might have been in this one, I don't know. I'll put everyone's Instagrams that's connected to this place in the descriptions. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm going home to bed. Sound. Catch you in the next one.